let's have a closer look at the Swallowcliff Mount. It's a Saxon piece of jewellery that was found in the burial of a very high status, a very posh lady in the village of Swallowcliff. And it was found, and then it was eventually taken to Salisbury Museum, where it's on show at the moment. So let's have a look. It's a round one, so here's my paper and my pencil. I'm ready to go. I'm using pencil, I'm not using a pen, because if I make a terrible mistake, I can rub things out and start again. With a pen, you're stuck. So first of all, wish me luck. I'm going to do a circle, because this is the outer circle. Let's see how big. So I'm trying to use all the paper here. Oh, I practiced this earlier, and just like this one, yeah, it's looking a bit more like an orange than around, you know, the fruit orange. Anyway, that's the outer circle, and then there's another one that sort of follows it inside. So this one's a bit easier because I'm just following what I've just done. And let's say, yeah, I'm not very round. What you could do, have a look in the kitchen for something round, like the lid on a saucepan. Something quite big that's round that you could draw around. If you want to get it really, really round, because you can see mine, I'm doing it freehand and it's gone a bit sort of wobbly already, but that's fine. It's okay, it's just a practice. And then in the middle of our Swallowcliff Mount, there's another circle, so we'll have a go at that. Okay, and I'm going quite dark so you can see it, but you could, if you're not quite so confident, you could do it a little bit lighter with your pencil, and it's even easier to get rid of the mistakes. Right, so the next thing we do, it's a bit like maths, but don't panic, because this is the fun bit. Have you heard of symmetry? When you can chop things in half, it's the same on that side as it is on that side, or we chop it that way, same that way, same that way. Well, these Saxons, very, very clever people, must have worked very hard when they're making their jewellery, because the Swallowcliff Mount has got lots and lots of symmetry in it. And it's a bit like a clock. So we're going to start at 12 o'clock. Well, actually, it's my 12 o'clock, but as you can see, the way your camera is, where you're looking at it is more like 3 o'clock, but we'll start there. So there's a line there, and then absolutely opposite it, there's another one. And then there's another one around about there, so it's not exactly there like a clock would be, it's about there. But then we have to copy it, because we're doing symmetrical, so we do another one there. And then we do another one down here, about there. And then again we have to copy it over here, because we're doing symmetrical. And there we have. And have you noticed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? See, I'm wondering whether that's kind of an interesting number for the Saxons, because 6 appears quite a lot. So the next thing we do are these funny wiggly shapes that makes it look like it's got some kind of a giant flower in it. Now each of these sections here, so this is sounding complicated, but honestly it's quite easy. Each of these sections here has its own petal, flower petal going into it. Watch this. So we start there, and we go out, and it goes and it touches that line there, and then it comes back again. Mine's really wobbly. So that's one. See, that one goes to that section, so we need to do one there. Wouldn't it be funny if I mess this up on camera? If I do, I'll be honest and I'll show you the mistake. I won't edit it out later. And there's another one. Oh, this is getting a bit wobbly. That goes out like that. That goes around like that. It's not my best petals I've ever drawn. And it goes around like that. And it touches the line. And it goes around. It comes back again. Oh, can I do this? No pressure. It's just you watching it on film, being preserved forever if I make a big mistake. And the last one. Oh, it's not over till it's over, and there it is. Whew. So we've got 6 of these petals now. And final thing, right in the middle, there's one jewel. It's a red jewel. I'm not quite sure what it is. I'll have to do a bit more reading, find out what it is, but there's one jewel there. Now the next thing we can do, I'll speed this up. We double up all the lines, because when you look at the real thing, I'll show you the picture. All of the lines are made of metal, so they're a thickness. And at the moment, I've just got a single pencil drawing line. So what we do is, I'm going to speed this one up. Ready, steady, go. And there we go, doubled it up. Now it's beginning to look a bit less like a drawing, a bit more like an object. It's an old object, so my shaky hand drawing actually helps it to look old, so I think that's my excuse anyway. I think that's actually works quite well. And of course the next step is to put colour on. There are lots of colour, lots of gold and silver colour in there. If you've got gold and silver crowns or whatever at home, brilliant. If you haven't, think about using reds, using yellows, lots of yellow. If you've got different shades of yellows, pencils, crowns, whatever. And don't forget, there's the one single very important jewel in the middle, so that's got to be an important colour. But there you are, you can draw your own picture of the Swallowcliff Mount that was found with a very high status, a posh lady in her grave near the village of Swallowcliff in Wiltshire. Okay, let's try some making. We've done some drawing, let's try some making. So we're going to need some card. That's from an old Amazon delivery packet. With my pencil again. Going to need, maybe need some newspaper, have a think about that. I'll show you that in a minute. Interesting. Definitely need some of that. Of those, maybe. What else do we need? All sorts of bits and bobs. There we go. Right. So we're going to make a little replica brooch that maybe you can wear. So a little bit of tape. I've got masking tape. That's brilliant. Sticky tape. That's good. Stapler. Maybe rubber bands. We'll have a look at those in a minute. Glue. Scissors. And I said cardboard here. So the first thing is we need to find the shape. We want to do a round one to wear. A round Saxon brooch that we're going to wear. So we need that. And we pop that on there. So I found my pencil, which I've just buried under everything. And the first thing you do is we're going to circle. You could draw it by hand, that's fine. Or you could use a round. It doesn't have to be a tube of sticky tape. It could be something from the kitchen, like a mug or something like that. But getting it nice and round, that's a really good start. And then scissors time. What you like at cutting out. This is where you're not allowed to pass it to an adult and say, "Hey adult, can you cut it out for me?" Come on, you can do this. You can do this. All right, and I'm going to cut around. It's really good practice. Now, can you see what I'm doing? The scissors are cutting, and with my other hand, I'm actually turning a piece of card. So the scissors aren't. I'm not pushing with the scissors. I'm actually turning the card. All right, so that's that. But that's a piece of. That's a disc of brown cardboard. Not very Saxon. Not very exciting at all. This is where the final finish will be with silver foil. Now I'm using stuff. You could have used gold paper, but we're all doing this from home. Have you got gold paper in the cupboard? If you have, you're very lucky. I haven't. So it looks like that. But what we need is a picture on it, and the real picture. If you were able to touch the real Saxon object, you'd be able to feel the lumps and bumps because it's embossed. It means it's bumpy. It's a bumpy picture. So at the moment that's smooth. So there's different ways we could make it bumpy. We could. I haven't got string. So number one is you could have string, but I don't happen to have string. So I'm going to try all sorts of other things. But if you've got string, what you do is you cut out a little length of it, and then you thread it around. Maybe you want a circle, and then you could, if you've got really sticky glue, like squeezy glue, you know, the white stuff that goes everywhere, PVA glue, you could try that. Or if you've got an adult and a stapler, I say an adult because in the past I have stapled my finger, right? This is where, I know I'm always making a joke, but I've got to be serious here. When I was little, I stapled my finger, and I can still remember how much it hurt. And now I'm an adult and I can still remember how much it hurt. So maybe get an adult to help you. And the adult will staple on, I haven't got it so I can't really show you, but staple on the string onto the cardboard so that the string doesn't move. So you lay that out on your card in your design you want, maybe a circle, and maybe circles, and maybe a whole spiral or something. If you look at lots of pictures of Saxon jewellery just for ideas, and look at this film of course for ideas, and then on top of that, so you need to cover card with, now this is a top tip, we're going to stick silver foil on, right? If you try to put the glue on and then put that on there, you will probably rip the silver foil. So my top tip suggestion is you put the glue on the card, maybe even put the glue on before you staple the string on, and then that goes on there, and when you push it down you'll be able to feel it. So I haven't got string. I genuinely have not got string here. So I've got some pipe cleaners. I don't know why I've got pipe cleaners and not string. It sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? But there you go. So you choose any colour you want because you're not going to see it. So I want blue. I want blue. Well, it doesn't matter because you won't see it. So I'll show you. This is kind of what you do with a string. You think about your pattern, and then you thread it around like that. There it goes. Actually, if we're going to do a spiral, let's do a spiral because I think pretty sure that there's lots and lots of spirals on the Swallowcliffe Princess mount. So let's do. Make sure you can see. I keep moving out of the way, don't I? So you can't see what I'm doing. Can you see I've started in the middle? There you go, round and round and round, like that. Can you see? Round and round, it's great fun. Where else would you see a spiral? Snails. Have a look at a snail shell. Out the outside of a snail shell, and you will notice that a snail shell is just one great big solid spiral, with or without a snail on the inside. So there's that. There you go, can you see that? And then that will go on top of there. But if you try to stick it with just normal glue stick, trust me, it won't really work. it won't be that brilliant. So if you've got a stapler, that's brilliant. If you haven't got a stapler, bit of sellotape on there. Not too much sellotape because you don't want to do a big lump of sellotape on there. That, and then I've done this before. And look, I didn't hurt myself. Phew, that's a relief. That would not be a good thing to film. Owen hurting himself. Right, and then we get our silver foil there. And it's, as we said already, this stuff's really weak, so just tear it a bit like that. And then on goes the glue. I'll pretend because I want to do something else in a minute. And then that goes onto there. You can tuck it around the outside because you've got glue, and you're also tucking it around. So tucking it around will keep it on. Around the outside. And then it's smoothing time. So it's stuck on now. It's held on. It's not going to fall off. And that's smoothing time. So with your fingers, you can work over the top, and look, the design will start to come out. Start to come out like that. Now, if you've got any, I don't think I have actually. No, I haven't. If you've got any permanent pens, not colouring in pens, but permanent pens, then you could actually do some dots and some jewellery on there. But can you see? I've got very carefully, so I don't rip it with my fingernails. I'm beginning to, so I could work better on that. But all the time, but my design is coming through there. See, I've got myself a Saxon brooch. Another thing I thought, have you ever looked outside when the postman's been? Sometimes postmans drop rubber bands. So you could try using, just use the back just for a minute, a piece of card. You could try maybe staple that on, or maybe just leave it there and put the silver paper on top. Or I tried some other ones earlier on. If you want to do some straight lines, so the Saxons, when they first came to Britain, they were pagans, so they believed in lots of animal spirits and land spirits. But then later on, they started to convert to Christianity. So maybe you could put a cross. I'm doing a cross there. You can put a cross. If you cut that rubber band, it suddenly becomes a straight line. So you can do things like crosses and lines, and you can think more about symmetry. There you go. So rubber bands. Maybe the postman. Maybe you could leave us a polite note on the door in the morning saying, "Dear post person," you have to say post person. Can't say postman. Dear post person, do you have any rubber bands I could have for a school project? And you might, if you're lucky, you might find on your doormat lots and lots of rubber bands suddenly appearing. So we've got, you might have string, brilliant, that's the best thing. You might have pipe cleaners, you might have rubber bands. Those are my ideas. I did try another way. You see I've got a newspaper here. Brought myself a newspaper. Check it's an old newspaper. You could try, I did try this earlier on. It's not as good as string, I'll admit that. But you could try rolling it up really tight. Just need a tiny little bit. Roll it up really, really tight like that. And then maybe twist it. You see I'm twisting. I'm holding that with that hand and I'm twisting with that hand. And then that kind of gives you a bumpy thing. And that will stick very nicely onto your card. There you go. So, lots of ideas for you. Now it's your turn to get to work.